Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsy69. Welcome back to the channel. Now, today we've got a very special video because we are going to take a look at this tank right here, the Fv4005. But we're not going to take a look at it as it is now in World of Tank Splits. We are going to take a look of it in real life. Yes, in real life. We was lucky enough to see this. Now, obviously, I've been going Tankfest for the past 8 or 9 years. And this tank has always sat at the entrance, like guarding the Bovington Tank Museum. And it's never moved. It's always just sat there and it's never been able to move. But this year, not Wargaming, but the Tank Museum did a project where they are going to restore this tank. So they got a company in, they needed donations. I think they needed £40,000 in donations because the museum is run by donations. So they needed £40,000 in donations to restore this tank. Now, World of Tanks generously gave 20,000. They gave 20,000 and then they earned the next 20,000 in one day. So they got the money they needed. That is how desperate people were to see this up and running again. So it got sent off to Mr. Hughes, I think his name is. I'll link the YouTube video down below because it's very, very interesting to see them transforming it. And they put it all on YouTube. They've actually got quite a lot of subs, to be fair, and they get quite a lot of views. So, and they documented all of it. There's 4 or 5 videos just based on this tank, and a load of other tanks that if you are interested in seeing them restore them as well. So, as I said, I will put the link to their channel in the description below. So, if you do want to go and see this tank right here, the Fv4005, the well, not the Death Star, the ship barn. And then, of course, go and check their channel out. But Wargaming, everyone talks shit about Wargaming. Obviously, as a community concern, every year I do get invited to go see Bovington with Wargaming. And again, this year was very, very special because I finished, or almost finished, the restoration of this fire. And then what they were doing at the end of the week, they were doing it so certain people can actually get inside of this tank. And of course, because of Wargaming's generous donations and how much they actually give to the museum, we were allowed, some of us community contributors were allowed to get up close and personal, sit in the tank, look around the tank, stand on top of the tank, not on top of the turret, but on top of the tank, and yeah, and we got to talk to the people who actually restored it. And one of the guys actually said one of the most difficult things for him was actually painting it. It was actually painting the tank. So yeah, it was interesting talking to him, but yeah, equally as good, or not equally, as good was to actually get inside of the tank. Just on the right side there, you've got Rowan, who is one of the newest CCs. I think he's in charge of the super test. So he was there. There was a few new people that I've never met before. TKO, another community contributor. It was nice meeting him. And of course, as you've seen in the thumbnail, Aminette, she's there every year. Good to see her every year. And a few other people. What Blitz Joe. I've become really good friends with What Blitz Joe over the years, and that's the third time in a row that I've met him, and yeah, it's really good seeing him each year as well. He also got in the tank, and yeah, there was a few of us. Scanner was there again as well, so nice to see him. But for me, the highlight of the day was just getting inside this legendary tank. So we couldn't spend long in there because there was a queue. They was also allowing people who actually donated to get inside the tank. So you know, looking down there, you can just see the seat, and yeah, it's quite small when you get inside. It doesn't look a lot, but yeah, obviously there's quite a lot of room down there. And just reading the history about the tank, of course, we all know the Fv4005. We all know the Death Star. Obviously, it's not a real tank, but the Death Star is, of course, 183mm. And so is this. This is actually the real 183mm, the largest gun ever to be put on a tank. And when they was telling us, each shell that this tank has is around about 76 kilos. Like that, 76 kilos each shell, and it takes obviously a couple of people to reload. But to see it running around the arena, now I didn't get any footage of the tank running around the arena because I was sadly, I think I was in a Q&A with Wargaming, which in probably tomorrow's video we'll talk a little bit about that, and we'll talk about Unreal Engine. But yeah, there was a plenty of people there that actually had footage. So I stole some from Rowan, and I've stole some from maybe TKO, I think. So they've posted it, and I've literally just stolen their recordings. So thank you very much. And Andy as well, Lord Cancius in the GNA clan. So I do appreciate you guys recording this so I can steal it. But yeah, to see it up running. Again, when you talk to the guys who restored it, all it really needed, so it needed a new Centurion chassis. That's pretty much all it really needed. The mantlet, or the gun, where the gun, you've got the holders, I think they built them as well. But yeah, to see it running around, I think on the first day it was running around, it was quite slow, but by the look of it on the next day, it did start to sort of pick up speed a bit, and yeah, it was interesting. And considering I've been at Tankfest for sort of 8 or 9 years in a row, and you can only ever see this tank at the front. People used to climb on, well, not climb, they used to hang from the gun, take pictures from the gun, but you couldn't really get on top of it, you couldn't get inside it, it was just sitting there as like an ornament. So to see it running around the arena, and then for our surprise from Wargaming, they called us over and say, right guys, we've got something special for you, you can get inside the tank. And yeah, it was absolutely amazing. I wish we could spend a bit more time in the tank, maybe get into the driver's seat as well, but there was just so many people who donated to this great cause. There was a long line of people wanting to, so we didn't get as much time as we wanted. The What PC guys was there as well. Some of them was in the tank, but they went last because what they actually wanted to do is get their laptop out, get the game, get World of Tanks up and running, and they wanted to actually play the Fv4005 while sitting in the Fv4005. So they went last, but we didn't really want to do anything like that. All we really cared about was getting inside the tank and having a look, because we know that not many people have actually stepped foot inside of that tank. So to do that, we are very, very grateful, and I don't speak on just my behalf, I'm sure I speak on all the CC's behalf who entered the tank. We are all grateful for Wargaming for allowing us, or for setting that up with the people that, well, with the museum, and of course with the people that restored the tank as well. So as I've said, I will link the channel of Mr. Hughes and his gang in the description. But yeah, amazing day, amazing tank, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. But for now, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Meadsy, and I will catch you all tomorrow. Bye bye.
And on the rear of it,